Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to reloading rifles in the range. So last couple days I had opportunity to get out there and actually do some shooting at the range, do some load development. So that's pretty cool. Hadn't got a chance to do that for a while. If you watched my little short on the 270 short mag, then you know that turned out pretty well. So just a quick recap. The first rounds I ever shot through that gun was custom loaded ammo, and I used 145 grain eldx's, and I just used a really kind of a starting load. And it had about an inch group, and it was a pretty good group, literally like the first 5 bullets ever shot out of the gun, so pretty impressed. Had a lot of trouble finding components or loaded ammo, and so I ended up finally finding some. It was Winchester copper impact, and I shot those here a while back, made a video about it. They didn't shoot very good, probably 2.5 MOA, something like that. But anyway, I just use those brass, So with the brass I got from those rounds and the brass that my friend found in a blind in a different state, I was able to put enough together, get some components to load some more. Now, I wanted to load up the CXs I bought, the 130 grain CXs, and I will do that, but I just kind of ran out of time. But I wanted to do a little bit more load development on those 145 grain eldx's. And I didn't chronograph them either. So chronographed them, ended up bumping up the powder a little bit more. Got up to 57.2 grains of IMR 4350. And the accuracy was just as good. It never really got better. I'd say about 1 MOA, which I know is not fantastic, but I'm just getting started here. But it was good enough. And but the standard deviation was 5. Really good standard deviation. I think the extreme spread would have been 14, but really good on the powder. So maybe I can mess with the seating depth later and maybe tighten up the group a little bit, but very impressed with that. That particular gun loves those 145 grain eldx's, and those bullets love the IMR 4350. It just seems to be a match made in heaven. So pretty cool there, but got to shoot the gun, really enjoyed it. Next, I decided to get out my 308 and my 30-06 and do a little shooting. I wanted to develop 180 grain Swift AFrame bullets with my 30-06. Now, I bought those Swift AFrame bullets a long time ago, probably 10 years ago, and I've never done anything with them. Mainly because the 180 grain Swift AFrame in a 30-06 is definitely like an elk round, and I've unfortunately never got the opportunity to go elk hunting. But I wanted to load them up anyway. So measured my chamber and the cartridge overall length, and I don't know if my gun is shot out due to throat erosion or what, but man, there's a lot of room in there. So I measured a 3.440 overall length. Basically that's to the jam in the rifling, so that's a lot. So we seated those 180 grain Swift A-frames way out. In fact, the base of the bullet is almost at the shoulder, but not quite. It's still in the neck slightly. And the crimping line is way out. And it looks a little odd, but it cycles perfectly, like no issues cycling it. It's either just a lot of erosion or what. I'm not sure. But let me skip ahead real quick. I do like that. For a bullet I'm going to do in the future, 190 grain Berger VLD. I do like that I have a lot of room in there. But anyway, so getting back to the A-frame, really seated them out far, which gives you a little bit more case capacity, and bumped up the powder well beyond the max. Now, I'm not going to tell you what I did, but it definitely was over max, and I was getting about, I think, 2775 was my average feet per second. And the groups were okay. They weren't fantastic. I'd say 2-inch groups, maybe a little more. So the groups can definitely be better. I honestly feel pretty good about my shooting. So not the greatest groups. And the standard deviation was not that great either, maybe 30 to 40. So not the greatest. Now those Swift A-frames, it's kind of a round nose bullet. It's a lot like a partition. They're not made for extreme accuracy. You know, if I can get them at 2 MOA, probably good enough for an elk. I'm not gonna give up. I'm definitely gonna do more, but I did get the velocity I was looking for. I was hoping to get around 2,800, and I got close to that. So I technically could, there was still room in there, and I was having no signs of pressure whatsoever. The bolt was not sticky. The primers were not, you know, flattened on the edges. There was no signs of pressure whatsoever, and I still had room in the case. So if I want to later, I can revisit that and maybe see if the standard deviation gets a little better. And that bullet's way out there. I could bring it back in a little bit. Maybe that'll affect the accuracy, but I did get some loaded up. I got about 25 loaded up, and it's just nice to have some bullets ready to go for elk if I get the chance. So that was pretty cool. And then lastly, I shot my 308, loading up 130 grain ttsx's in my 308. Sadly, I ran out of time, and the chronograph stopped working. The sun started to go behind the trees, and the chronograph just wasn't picking it up. So I only shot 5 rounds through it. No signs of pressure. Once again, got a little above max. No issues. I don't know what the velocity was. I'm hoping it's around 3,100, but it's probably at least 3,000. So I'll go back a different day, and I'll make up some more of those, and I'll get them shot. And I'm very curious to know what the velocity is on those. Group was about the same, not a tremendously awesome group. I will show pictures here, but you know, not the greatest group. But just getting started. And you know, most of your monolithic bullets are not the most accurate anyway. They're accurate enough. That's probably a controversial statement. I have heard of some people that say they're very accurate, especially like the LRXs and stuff. So maybe, but generally speaking, your monolithic bullets or like a partition A-frame bullet, neither one are designed for extreme long-range accuracy, with some exceptions. More designed for hunting and penetration and killing. So overall, pretty happy about it. You know, I got my overall length of my 308 measured in the chamber with those 130 grain. It's almost 2.9 inches. It's just under that. So it definitely sticks out there a little beyond the cartridge overall length. Once again, it goes in the chamber, no problem. So the 30-06 is that Remington 700. And like I said, maybe it's getting shot out. I'm not sure. It's still shooting fine. And then the 308 is my Mauser, my Franken Mauser. I made a video about it if you want to go back and watch it, about the greatest rifle you can ever have, I think is what I called it. And the point behind it was basically, it's the gun you already have. And I mentioned how that particular gun is kind of a Frankenstein of just parts, but shoots good. Has a 23-inch barrel, so I might be able to get just a hair more velocity than most of your books, which shoot at 22. But overall, had a great day shooting. Looking forward to doing more testing with the 270 short mag, with the 30-06 with the 308. And I've got a lot more I want to do with my other calibers too. When I get my 22-250 back from the gunsmith, he's glass bedding it and pillar bedding it. And then I definitely want to do some more 6.5 testing. Need to get that scope issue ironed out. I haven't done that yet, but anyway, I had a good time the last few days. Here's a little bit of footage from that, and I hope you have a great day, and until next time, take care.
Otherwise, it's just a memory. And memories aren't good as memory cards.
Point of aim was right there.
Well, that made a bigger dust pile down there. Yep. I think that's a 30-06.
See, they aren't working. Won't work. They're trying to hire 46 maintenance guys.
46.
Talk about a mess.
Shot about. That one shot right beside it.